Hi friends, this is Carolyn from the Los Angeles Maritime Institute. Remember the organization with the big tall ships? This week we will be learning about the water cycle. We will learn how water moves through the earth, where it comes from, and why it is important to every organism. Let's start just by talking about water in general. 71% of the Earth's surface is oceans full of water. From space, the Earth looks like a tiny blue marble because of all the water it has. The Pacific Ocean alone covers 1/3 of the Earth's surface. The ocean is home to about 1 million animal species, including tiny invertebrates such as shrimp, up to the largest animal that ever lived on Earth, the blue whale. The ocean teems with plant life. Most are tiny algae called phytoplankton, which produce about half of the oxygen that humans and other land-dwelling creatures breathe. Bigger algae like seaweed and kelp also grow in the ocean and provide food and shelter for marine animals. The ocean is huge, vast, and a place that holds many mysteries. Scientists estimate that 91% of the ocean species have yet to be classified, and that 95% of the ocean remains unexplored.
But hold on, where does all this water come from?
Scientists are still uncertain where water came from. Water may have come to our planet billions of years ago on an asteroid or comet, both of which contain ice. There's even water on the Moon and Mars, which further support this theory. Of course, water in the ocean will move from place to place. The water here in Long Beach, where our ship lives, won't stay here forever. It will move with tides and currents, going to the Indian Ocean, to the deepest part of the ocean, the Mariana Trench, or maybe even the Arctic. But water doesn't just move from ocean to ocean, it will move through the Earth as part of the water cycle. To help us dive into this topic a little more, Jonah here is going to be a water droplet, taking us through the water cycle. As the sun heats the surface of the ocean, water will start to evaporate as part of the water cycle. Jonah, in his water droplet form, will change from a liquid to a gas, becoming water vapor rising in the atmosphere. This process is known as evaporation. As the water vapor rises through the atmosphere, it will start to cool, and the molecules will group closer together, creating liquid water droplets in a process called condensation. Enough water droplets together will form a cloud by clinging to particles floating in the air, such as dust and ice. For Jonah, this means that he will be making friends high up in the sky. He will cling together with his friends and make a big, nice, fluffy cloud. After enough water droplets come together in a cloud, they become too heavy to stay in the upper atmosphere. So they will begin a process called precipitation. Precipitation falls as rain and sometimes snow, sleet, and hail if the conditions are right. Jonah will leave his friends in the cloud and return to the atmosphere as rain. Jonah could fall back into the ocean, or maybe a swimming pool, a puddle, or a mountain. He could fall as a raindrop hitting the coat of a dog out on a walk. Anywhere on Earth, really. This water will flow downhill through rivers and streams, and even underground through holes in the Earth's crust. This is called runoff. Humans can collect this fresh water and clean it in water filtration plants so that it can be used and distributed in homes. This is the water that you use for drinking, brushing your teeth, or showering. So many other animals use this water too. Bears, cats, birds, mosquitoes, snails all use water in some way to survive. Plants and trees too.
But wait, isn't water in the ocean salty? Jonah the water droplet started in the ocean. Animals and humans don't drink salt water.
Well, many animals do actually survive drinking and living on salt water. 60 to 80% of all life on Earth is found under the ocean's surface, which of course is salt water. But you are right, humans don't drink salt water. The water cycle purifies and cleans the water as it goes through the water cycle. When Jonah evaporated from the ocean and became a gas, the salt was left behind. Next time you're at the beach, you can watch this process. Grab a cup of salt water and leave it in the sun. Over time, the water will evaporate and you will see the salt crystals stay behind in the cup.
What happens when the water in the water cycle is contaminated by pollution?
Well, I'm glad you asked. The Earth itself acts as a remarkably good filter. So just like the salt crystals in the cup, most pollutants won't continue through the water cycle past evaporation. Mother Nature ends up taking the impact of the pollution instead of it remaining in our drinking water. However, some pollution does make its way into the water cycle. When the water vapor condenses in the atmosphere, it will sometimes cling to tiny particles in the air. These particles will fall with the rain as a phenomenon called acid rain. These contaminants infect plants and animal life, including humans, hurting their ability to grow, live, and reproduce. Before we go, let's review the water cycle one last time. It all starts with evaporation as the water leaves the earth, heating up because of the sun. These water gases then cool down and condense as condensation in the atmosphere. As it condenses, it forms a big cloud, which gets heavier and produces precipitation. The water returns as snow, rain, hail, or sleet. It then runs off mountains and streets and the ground and either becomes groundwater used for brushing your teeth, or it returns to lakes, streams, and the ocean where it started. Thanks for learning with us today. Check out the water cycle activity worksheet, water usage activity, and water pollution assignment to complete on your own. And in your free time, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Lammy Topsail. See you next week.